I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to think of ways how to show that we have no storylines coming into WrestleMania, no long-term storylines from over the course of 2018 that could even be at least relevant to the time of 2019. Thanks we're in the new year and it's WrestleMania season after the Royal Rumble. All I can say is this: SmackDown was at least a smidge better than Raw with a decent main event. But by God, we got some talking to do later. Because obviously, I want to get this stuff done with for the end of the week. Because I'm thinking of adding more content. I don't know if it's going to be video games. I don't know if it's going to just be more outside sports talk. I think it should be more sports talk. But I want to get this crap over with so I can get over my day. Because over the course of what I've been hearing, very little people want to research wrestling, want to watch wrestling. They barely tolerate Monday Night Raw because it's 3 hours. Or kids want to go back to bed over that time. I want to go to bed because I usually sleep early. And oh my God, Raw, SmackDown. I don't know what they're trying to plan with this. Because in the starting segment, you had Shane. We forgot that he's an authority figure, but he issues himself in a tag team, not giving himself much power. That he already added himself in a rematch against the Usos come Fastlane against the Usos for those SmackDown tag titles. Miz comes down making the sob story like his father was never proud of him if he was WWE champion, multi-time Intercontinental champion. He previously won multitudes of tag team titles with John Morrison and The Big Show. Just to name a few accomplishments that this man had. I'm shocked that right now he's trying to think of the sympathy angle with Shane McMahon. Knowing they should have just made the breakup scene back on Elimination Chamber over their first title defense, they lose. And already, backstage, they already planned for Mr. Mizanin, to be in the crowd supporting Miz and Shane regain their tag team titles after losing it back at Elimination Chamber. We already have March 10th for Fastlane, because somehow you need two extra pay-per-views to build up something at April. I'm just trying to, make sure this all makes sense, because WWE obviously don't know what to build up anymore. They have no storylines or gain of relevance. Since McIntyre is coming back on Raw. WWE thinks they have no ideas for him. Mr. McMahon kind of gave away Braun Strowman's chances all because he broke his limo. He should have been doing more destructive stuff to fuck up Vince McMahon's life after taking away his Universal title shot. Fuck Baron Corbin. Because Corbin didn't even know what he was doing. He didn't know whose car it was. He should have been aiming for McMahon. From all this crap, I don't know why this story exists. At least Strowman has a bit of a reason why he's baiting the crap out of Corbin. I don't know why Miz is tagging up with Shane, and he's not aiming for a WWE Championship opportunity, even though the last time he had a reign with the WWE title was 2011. So this segment was completely worthless just to give a sympathy angle, with very little chemistry coming out of this. Then we had, and then yes, Shane did issue that the three of the NXT superstars will be competing in majority of the matches of the show. At least his new competition, other than the Cien Almas facing off against Rey Mysterio. Eric Young got a match that he gets pinned. Oh, by the way, Ty Dillinger got released? Come on, man. This show is already doing badly. Thinks they don't know how to actually issue feuds anymore, and they don't know how to make a good storyline when we're near the biggest pay-per-view of the year. And you're telling me right now that you can't build up storylines anymore? Not even factions. Nobody has factions. Nobody wants to make an allegiance so they can build themselves up so they can be stuck in dark matches or the mid-card for life. That's what I expect Cien Almas to do. Or at least freaking Ty Dillinger until Ty Dillinger got released. He asked himself if he asked the company if he could get released. Sadly, and that's a depressing thought. that a guy is so over a 10 chant and nothing else about his personality. He already asked for his own release because he wasn't doing much. Next up is Aleister Black versus Andrade. Not Andrade Cien Almas, something that sounds at least a bit cool. Not the and not him as a former luchador because he had a mask before he took it off. Selena Vega was injured. This was an alright match. The commercial breaks were off the wazoo. I think it was 3 commercial breaks for this match. Too many rest holds. There were some good flyby moves. Aleister Black is an amazing wrestler. Just I wish I was more into his character. I wouldn't advise this, but if it was my idea, thanks to the way his entrance is and the way they try to make his demeanor, they could have just made him a Satanist or something other than just a gothic character. Just a gothic character would be interesting. They call him the Dutch Destroyer and crap like that. I think they could make his character a bit more mature. And I think he's one of the 2 NXT pickups that were not champion. I expect him to stay more, but he competed on NXT the next night. So I don't know what they're doing with him. There's EC3 that I thought it was going to come to SmackDown, but he didn't even show up on Raw. That he was with 2 matches with Dean Ambrose, then he doesn't show up on Raw. What's going on? The next up was a tag match involving Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano against the Bar, because the backstage segment they were trying to interlude into a trying to mess up with the Bar after they lost their tag titles. And then they said we're not here to set the bar. We're here to break the bar. And they obviously laughed because obviously look at Johnny Gargano. You can barely take him seriously if he's trying to intimidate a faction or a team. I gotta say this was an entertaining match. Good running knees. I thought Tommaso Johnny Gargano had some good hot tags. This was a really good match. Too bad it meant nothing. This isn't building it up. They're just doing these very entertaining matches. Since WWE obviously don't have centerpieces. What happened to Nakamura? R-Truth? What happened to Rusev? Where are they? Where the hell are they? Sanity didn't even have a match, and Eric Young had to compete tonight. Why couldn't Sanity just match up against the Bar? Gargano and Ciampa went off using their original tag move when they were called DIY. Next up was Asuka returning. And I feel bad for Asuka. Not only because I think she's an underrated talent, I just don't think WWE is in it for everyone. And it's okay. No one has to be all because you're the biggest in Japan, all because you're the biggest in Mexico, all because you're the biggest in any Euro place in the world. Even if you're the best in Japan, demographic for everybody, and if you can fit that description, WWE can work fine. Asuka can barely get over except she can just spam Japanese. She juggles her sentences on whenever she speaks English. Her wrestling maneuvers are not that interesting to me. She just uses a bit of Naomi's techniques, except she's a bit of a submissionist. And then you lose to Mandy Rose because Lacey Evans distracted you for a bit. Then the match continued to go on. Mandy Rose was alright in the ring a bit. She has some good physical moves. And she's obviously a strong woman. She's a really hot. I'm gonna stop. It was a really good. It was a really decent match, but just having your women's champion pinned clean after returning from I think an injury or something, it's kind of pointless. I'm trying not to shout. It it's just bad. It was just really bad seeing Asuka just there was near fall after near fall. You keep doing this stupid false finish after false finish, but then she gets pinned by a roll up, and it's like, why do you do this to Asuka? You make it feel like being SmackDown Women's Champion means nothing. You're not building her on equal footing as the Raw Women's Champion that pins Ruby Riott twice. Next up was Ricochet versus Eric Young. Eric Young is still alive, folks. Yes, Eric Young is still alive. Your former Impact World Heavyweight Champion comes to the show to compete against NXT star Ricochet. And he gets pinned clean. He doesn't even use the faction sanity that I thought was supposed to assist him in wins or something, or at least in a DQ. But I can still make both Eric Young and Sanity look dangerous. Thinks you got him also from NXT. Just to get pinned clean off using the 630. And of course, he's used the same maneuvers that he used last week on Raw in the tag match with Finn Balor and Lashley. And I'm going to go over this on my Raw review. I don't know how Lashley's still with Leo Rush. But it's cool because Ricochet does what he does best. He works with midgets that are the same weight as him. This is alright. He has amazing drop kicks. He's great at top con helos, if you know what that is. That's like a front senton from the top rope. He's great at flips, and that's not much of his personality. We don't know much about it. Ricochet, if you've seen him in the indies, he's a really cool guy to look at. But other than his cool moves, he's literally just, I think he's Brazilian. He's just a light-skinned Rob Van Dam, just really more athletic. Ricochet did win, though. I don't know what Sanity was doing. Next up was the main event. It was a 6-man tag involving the baby faces and the heels on the Elimination Chamber, involving Kofi Kingston and Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles against Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan already made a stupid promo involving that none of his opponents will be anybody in the ring until later on. Shane said that it will be Kofi Kingston facing off against Daniel Bryan because Kofi Kingston got over a bit. Now I understand. If it was me, I could have just made the title defense be on SmackDown, so we can have a bit of more fan support. I think SmackDown hasn't been that watchable lately. So if Kofi pinned Daniel Bryan, he could have a title match next week, and we could have something else building up the fast lane. That's just my thought. I think that should be more tolerable to watch and to waste time at building up Kofi Kingston as being the solo act again after the New Day has been the most watchable part of SmackDown and Raw for the past couple of years. So I don't know why they're doing this. So, yes, the 6-man tag was alright. We got some good suspenseful moves. New Day, Kofi Kingston, they were trying to put aside what happened in the Elimination Chamber before they, tag up. Jeff Hardy does the same moves that you've seen for over 10 years. If you are a big fan of Jeff Hardy, you know what moves he was doing. He was trying to use an atomic drop on Samoa Joe. That was completely silly. And doing the legs drop kick to, I still don't know if that's the gut. Double leg drop on the gut. AJ Styles doing AJ Styles things. This was an alright match, but this was just a 6-man tag. And they were trying to say the 6-man tag team blockbuster. Because it's the 6 guys that you've seen in the Elimination Chamber, so obviously nothing much could change. Nobody got any battle wounds, and nobody had to sell any injuries that they succumbed to in the Elimination Chamber, because it looks like shit. The Elimination Chamber looks like it barely even hurt ECW wrestlers, or even children that are pretend wrestling. They get in a trip on one of the chambers that won't get hurt. Nobody suffers an injury. The SmackDown could have been better. If they're trying to build up Kofi Kingston as like this underdog, a guy that's been in the mid card since his career started, and they're trying to build him up right now like they did back at 2009 when he was feuding with Legacy against Randy Orton and crap like that. It could have been built up a bit better. And obviously, I don't know what they're gonna do because obviously Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan can have good matches. I'm not gonna knock Kofi Kingston. He's one of the most talented guys I've seen in the WWE that has been consistently athletic. Never gave me a disappointing match. He seems to not half-ass his entertainment factor. He seems like an entertaining guy, and if they just make a title match on SmackDown, because obviously, if we waste time on Fastlane, there's nothing built up on the part except if they really want to break up New Day when they have a lack of a tag division on WWE to begin with, and I think they should get rid of the brand split titles because no one cares about the Usos holding the tag titles. Miz and Shane are trying to win that back at Fastlane, and you have the Revival holding the Raw tag titles. That's complete irrelevance if they just get pinned clean anyway. As SmackDown gets a 5 out of 10. I'm trying to be nice because I could give it a 4 because of a lack of build-up coming into Fastlane, and there's no other title matches up for grabs since the U.S. champion is still out. It was poor build-up. Thanks, Shane was just going to ask for a rematch anyway after the backstage over the ring altercation with the Usos and the Miz. Even though Miz have won more championships, won more tag team titles than in his resume than people know the Miz for. Kofi Kingston just jumped up to the top. I'm trying not to knock Kofi Kingston because I like Kofi Kingston. It's just people now think because he's black, this stupid bullshit from the wrestling fans that think Vince McMahon has a history of racist because he said nigga a few times and there hasn't been a world champion for WWE that was black. You forgot Booker T was a world champion before under the control of Vince McMahon. Bobby Lashley has won either won the ECW World Championship, even though people don't want to share that. He won the U.S. title. Kofi Kingston has become a multi-time Intercontinental Champion, U.S. Champion, won the tag titles a lot of times. And you're telling me right now that you think Vince McMahon in his smidgy little old mind that he's thinking right now, I don't want to make a black guy win the world title. Come on, folks. I just don't think Kofi Kingston is eligible to win the world title, or at least have a shot in a pay-per-view sense, because the guy is in a tag team. If he loses and he breaks up the New Day on SmackDown, that would have more of an effect, because we know how much the New Day have been closely together, and there's been nothing, not even an argument with the New Day when it comes to singles titles opportunities, even in the Royal Rumble, where all of them are in the ring, they're helping each other and shit. They could have easily just eliminated themselves and boop, breaking up. And on SmackDown, I think that could have more of an effect and build up to Fastlane. And I think we should have that because it builds up a pay-per-view. And it's not because I'm black that I think Kofi Kingston's really gonna get over. And no, it's just a timing sense and a building up sense. You forgot you still gotta sell Fastlane like you had to sell Elimination Chamber, having 2 Elimination Chamber matches and no other matches that are good or you can't wait to watch on pay-per-view, because obviously I'm trying to do this so we can get more matches and sell a pay-per-view. Not because he's black, he deserves it. They were giving this away to Mustafa Ali anyway. Mustafa Ali could have been fixing Daniel Bryan at Fastlane, but there could have been more build-up. Obviously, what about Randy Orton? What about AJ Styles? What about Jeff Hardy, Nakamura that won the 2018 Royal Rumble? How come he's not given a world championship shot? This is just logic. This is just, how is nobody else gifted an opportunity for the world title? And people are like raising Kofi Kingston's arms like, yeah, you deserve it. When AJ Styles been a long-time world champion, Jeff Hardy hasn't got a world title since 2009. The last time he competed for a world title was when he was feuding with CM Punk. Randy Orton, I think he's willing to become a world champion even though he doesn't need it, but I want him in a world title feud to get somebody over. Or Samoa Joe that has never won a single title And how come that doesn't piss him off that Kofi Kingston, the New Day guy, a guy that sells fucking bootios, a guy that literally profits up the kids, is getting a championship opportunity where Samoa Joe has been the must-watch guy. He's been more entertaining. He's more of a talker. He's a great wrestler. He's scary as hell. He just fits the description of somebody that can feud with Daniel Bryan, or at least with multiple other competitors. But he's gonna get that off the side to give Kofi Kingston a shot on a pay-per-view instead of a SmackDown match for the World Championship. And we had an unprecedented world title changes with Daniel Bryan winning I think 2 of the last WWE title changes have been on SmackDown instead of pay-per-views, involving Daniel Bryan when he had AJ Styles for the SmackDown for the WWE title before Survivor Series. And I think another one involving AJ Styles facing off against Jinder for the WWE title when he was done with the feud with Randy Orton. And Styles held the WWE title for a majority of 2018. I'm just trying to be honest, folks. I'm trying to actually tell you guys what sounds like a better idea and what sounds like you would actually watch. Cause you forgot that you still gotta watch SmackDown for the next couple weeks. I'm not actually waiting a few weeks until March so I can wait for Kofi Kingston to face Daniel Bryan on Fastlane. I am not waiting that long. Oh, it's just before WrestleMania. It's cool. No, it's not. When it could have went to so many other guys. When it's obviously guys like Jeff Hardy that have a different the opposite mindset than Daniel Bryan. How come you don't want to see that? AJ Styles, after what happened with Eric Rowan for the WWE title back at the Royal Rumble. Nobody wants to explain that? Nobody? Samoa Joe? Where the hell is Nakamura? Where the hell is Rusev? Where the hell is R-Truth? Where's the most of our women's division? Because only Mandy Rose and Asuka faced off this on Tuesday. This was an embarrassing show. This could have been way better. And I'm not saying this because the rant video and crap like that. And my friends, family that watch a few of my videos say I'm being too negative. I'm not being negative. This is just my opinion. This is how I view the show, and I think WWE can get better. I want WWE to get better. I feel like a long-running show should remain consistent and give you constant replay value. Because if it doesn't, you're just smothering your brand, and you think the WWE Network is going to save you in profiting reasons. It's stupid. It's idiotic. It's borderline delusional. And I want WWE to succeed. I want anything that I've been watching for years and profiting so much, but noticing that it's dying off a fan base that's been supportive since day one of watching this shit. They miss top guys. And getting one top guy isn't good enough. Now Seth Rollins gets to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Maybe if they have a bigger match than that they will. Roman Reigns sadly has leukemia. Dean Ambrose is going to leave. More NXT stars are just gonna jump from I know if Asuka loses, maybe next year she's gonna leave. Nakamura might leave because they obviously don't know what to do with him, and it's notable that he's not that interesting of a guy. He can barely speak English. The guy can barely captivate people, even though he has leg strikes and crap like that. And you need more than that to sell a pay-per-view. AJ Styles is the most interesting and most entertaining guy since 2016 that they had. And he's barely with interesting feuds. You made him feud with Jinder Mahal. This is coming out feuds that he had before, like John Cena. Daniel Bryan, that you give him this environmentalist gimmick for a world championship reign. I feel bad about that. I'm not going to say WWE is going to die. I hope it doesn't. And it's the only mainstream wrestling promotion that we got left. No one's gonna watch Ring of Honor after WWE. No one's gonna watch Impact. No one's gonna watch New Japan Pro Wrestling as much as people want to captivate as being one of the top promotions in the planet, when barely anybody watches it in the western region of the world. I didn't want to say that, but when push comes to shove, it does. Nobody else would be watching wrestling if WWE dies. That's the death of professional wrestling. And it's already in a dying state. It's already on life support. But the only thing in the lines of WWE staying alive is a bit of the money they're getting from fucking Saudi Arabia. Whatever, WrestleMania is coming up soon, so obviously people buying tickets. And obviously NXT talent. When it's obvious from guys who signed like Lacey Evans that can barely wrestle. We saw that back at Royal Rumble. EC3 that doesn't have much camera time. Dean Ambrose that sucks. We've seen that in the future. Giving a world title reign was obviously not good. Seth Rollins that needs more characterization. The mid card that's barely fleshed out, but everybody wants to say this is the best wrestling mid card we had. It takes more than wrestling to sell a show. The women's division that's been overrated since 2015. And of course, the brand split that to itself separated more problems for WWE. It's been in the commentary. It's trash. No one wants to listen to it. I listened to Raw this week on mute because Renee Young doesn't know how to call a wrestling move and obviously not interested in what's going on in the ring. She always wants to bring up backstage shit when you know she's an interviewer. She's not a commentator. That's different source of media and it's separate. We have Corey Graves that already has a lot of controversial shit going. He obviously doesn't know what he's doing on commentary anymore, and he just wants to be a heel commentator for some apparent reason. And then we got Michael Cole, Tom Phillips that still works there, even though he adds nothing to the commentary. You have three commentators. Why? When they have no personality of their own. Byron Saxton doesn't have a personality except he plays babyface. Michael Cole doesn't play anything except the neutral guy now. Really? And none of these guys can't call wrestling moves. You could have had Jerry King Lawler and Nigel McGuinness, and that could have made a great back and forth. Never seen Jerry Lawler work with a foreigner before, and that could have been interesting. I think you still got a guy with personality, and Nigel McGuinness that's obviously a great wrestling commentator, and he's really interesting, and he has a wrestling background from Ring of Honor and other promotions and stuff like that. And so does Jerry King Lawler. And obviously Nigel McGuinness worked with a different generation of wrestling, and so did Jerry Lawler. So why in the hell don't you want to make that a combination? Three people do not work unless they really know each other. Like Jim Ross and King Lawler. Damn, this show sucked. Thanks for watching.